and let's go to the south region of the country, specifically in Cross River State, and we'll be speaking with the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate, Prince Bassey Otu, who joins us virtually live from Calabar. Thank you so much, Prince Otu, for joining us tonight. How are you doing today, and how is the campaign coming?
Yeah, good evening. It's been quite hectic, but I'm very happy for you having me this evening.
It's good to have you on the program tonight. But let's go ahead and talk about your ambition. You want to be the governor of Cross River State, and we look at it in this perspective. Cross River State has been a predominant PDP state for a long time until Governor Ben Ayade left the PDP and moved to the APC. For those of your critics and opponents who have said, this is going to be a very tough one, a big lesson perhaps for your party will also be in the past election, in the presidential election, and how things turned out. Do you have your fears about the manner in which the pattern of voting has gone over the past election?
No fears at all. No fears at all. Though it wasn't expected at that level of magnitude, but we know that Cross Riverians are very enlightened now. They actually do not vote for party per se, but they vote for personalities. And I know that definitely APC is in charge of the state for now. It is true that at some point in time, PDP was quite strong. But those gladiators you had in PDP are all now in APC. So they've added the progressive credentials to their resume, and we are ready to take the state to the next level.
Your governor lost his senatorial race, and that is the man in whom you want to take the baton from. If that is any indication, or is that an indicative of anything for you and your chance in this race?
No, it's not. It doesn't affect my chance in any way at all. If you want to analyze that elections, you will know the factors that played. But they're quite different here, actually. The challenges of government is different. Each government has its own perspective. The incoming one is about the people. That's why we have the People First Manifesto. And the programs we put there, Cross Riverians know that this is the only pathfinder. This is just the roadmap to taking Cross River back to where it was before, and even the flocking to contemporary times. So as far as I'm concerned, those elections have nothing to play in this particular one. There are two different elections, and we are ready to take this one.
So, I mean, for those who say that Cross River State are obedient in some way, you agree with them?
Some of those obedience are across parties. They know who to vote for in any of the elections. That I can assure you.
But that wave does not bother you in any way, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all, because that voting pattern you saw there has even changed. Because some obedience are very, very annoyed with some of the remarks that were passed recently. And I believe that moving forward, they know exactly what to do.
So let's look at it. So your party, the APC, is the ruling party that have had sway for a few years before. I mean, since for over a year now, since Governor Ben Ayade crossed to the APC. So what have you been telling your people about the APC and Governor Ayade?
Well, what I've been telling my people is that any government that is supposed to take over from where he stopped must be a progressive government. And then we've come with our programs. We are scaling up the agricultural industrial revolution, which he has put primary processes all over the place. You know, before now, we really did not have a primary productive economy. Everyone coming out of school was looking at the civil service, but either at the state level or the federal level, to go and get some level of employment. But now we have big processing plants. We have the rice mill, which most of our young people coming out from school are beginning to go into rice planting. Some are going to maize, some cocoa. Some are even doing rubber. And the incoming government is going to scale up all that in all ramifications, because we're looking to do 50,000 hectares of each of those commodities added to what it was before. And we are looking as agric as a prosperity driver in the incoming government. We're looking to add 25% to our GDP year in, year out. We are looking to increase every household income by 10%. By the time our sectoral documents will come out, people will see that, yes, our liquidity position will improve. We'll be able to renegotiate our loans. And then we'll move on to very big things.
All right.
That I can assure.
So before we get into details of what you plan to do, you have a track record as a politician. You've served in the National Assembly before. What does those track records, what does it say in relation to your ambition now?
Well, it speaks volumes. You know, I believe that for a man who is seeking for public offices, his antecedents should speak more for him than any other thing. I've been in the House of Reps for 2 terms. I was chairman Petroleum Upstream, and I met 31% of Nigerians in that sector. I discovered that that was the mainstay of the Nigerian economy. And we couldn't live in the hands of foreigners. So I came up with the indigenous petroleum producers. We came up with a bill, the local content bill. I sponsored that bill. I know when I was sponsoring that bill, there was a lot of pressure not to pass that bill, but I did. At the end of the day, the bill turned to an act, which is now the Nigerian Content Development Act. If you look at the agency that bill has produced, it has the biggest budget among almost all the MDAs you're going to think of. I met 31% of Nigerians in the sector. Today, we have almost 91% of Nigerians in that sector. I was then moved to the Senate. And when I was moved to the Senate, I was first chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance and then Senate Committee on Banking. I also look at because when I go, I'm a problem solver. I try to look at what is the greatest issue and then resolve it. And what I met there on ground was the fact that people's savings were going on the ground. People would put in their life savings, and then before you know it, that bank has gone to the ground, and then NDDC would take so many years to pay back just what I would say a percentage, a pittance of what those people have put there. I decided to collaborate with all the sector, the people in the banking sector, and we came up with prudential banking system, which if one bank is going down, another bank picks it up. And ever since I left Senate as chairman Senate Committee on Banking, this is about 8 years ago going now, no bank has ever gone down. It is such antecedent, it is such experience that is needed actually to take such responsibilities as being the governor of Cross River State. Because we want to take in terms of capacity, the answers of the parliament don't lie. I believe that Nigerians across board can testify that, yes, I'm equal to the task.
First and foremost, this is, I've personally visited the Akpabuyo area of Cross River State, and I've had a first-hand engagement with some of the returnees, those who are now internally displaced in that state, the Bassey people and the Kuchingaro people. And these are the plight of original citizens and indigenes of Cross River State. Before we go into all of those other ideas that you have, do you have any plans to settle these people and settle them once and for all? They are in dire need of succor.
Yes, there are plans. But you see, I'm happy you were able to go through that area and see the pains that we bear as Cross Riverians. No referendum, no plebiscite was taken when our lands were ceded to another country. And besides that, the literal nature of that seizure now turned us to what one would call a landlocked state. We lost our revenue potential in terms of oil generation. And then we have people living in their own land, leaving their ancestral grounds as refugees. It's very unfortunate indeed. It will be a prime focus of this government to make sure that we seek a redress of this particular anomaly, starting from United Nations right down to Nigeria, because we cannot be treated this way.
But Mr. Otu, I don't know if you have since looked at the document. It was an international agreement that's been made. I don't know if it has been domesticated just yet, has it?
Up till now, that Greenpeace Treaty has not been domesticated. So that's one of the problems. It is not, and we don't think it will ever be.
So the big question here is that whether or not there is a domestication of that law in the international agreement, and which was done, I guess, under the Obasanjo regime. But the question is the plight of those people. Do you really have a specific plan, maybe in the immediate and a permanent settlement for them? Do you have any of those?
I said both in the short, the medium, and the long term, we have plans put in place. We will need to rehabilitate our people, especially the youth, almost immediately. Most of them now are being defined as militants, which I will not think so. It's a result of the displacement that we have all these social abnormalities. But that we are going to work on it. For the other elderly and the people who really do not have roofs over their heads, this government tried to put on some structures, which wasn't enough at all. We are going to do a lot more to make sure that these people are truly accommodated.
Because I wanted a specific, rather than the generic you're going to do or you have plans, are there specific in the first, in the immediate, how many people do you think, what are you going to do for them? Are you building settlements? What exactly, in what sense? They need to know, if they're watching right now, they need to have the specific plan and commitment should he be elected.
The specific plan one has, one, is to hold the federal government and the United Nations responsible. Two, as a state, we are going to put forward in the budget how to accommodate and resettle these people. And if you look at these things, are not things you do in one day. But definitely within a defined period, we are going to create some impacts, which the people themselves will understand. But to have a program, yes, we have a program for them. If you check our manifesto has stated clearly that it is the people first manifesto. And the government we are going to put in place is a stakeholder government, which we are going to hold talks, proper synergy with all segments of Cross River State. And they are part and parcel of it. We'll sit down with them, they will tell us what is their priority, and government will immediately work on it. That I can give every assurance.
So let me quickly take you on two issues quickly. One is on the economy and is on the debt issue, because if you had a debt burden that you will be inheriting should be elected, you must have a plan, because this is going to also be some kind of roadblock in you achieving your aims and objective. We understand that the debt profile of Cross River State, the external debt is about $279 million US, and external debt being in the region of about 190 something million US dollars. But in total, we understand that the total debt profile of the state is about over 200 billion naira. How do you hope to deal with that? Do you have any plan to offset that?
Yes, we have a plan. I've looked at the debt burden is quite heavy, but we are going to actually put in place a proper economy. And as an ex-banker, I believe that my challenge is to make sure we put a robust, pragmatic economy in place. I've studied those debts very well. I've seen where there are certain defaults that are not caused by the state. Some of those debts they are talking about, because it is very clear when you're giving out loans, there are steps to follow. When you meet up one step, then the loan is further granted. When you meet up, I've discovered where the other, what we'll call the Rubicons, were not met, loans were further given. For what? I've looked at it. The economy is going to put our liquidity ratio properly, which will allow us to renegotiate these debts. But even during renegotiation of these debts, we are going to sit down with them and all the rest and talk about these debts properly, because some of it is not really cross-river debts. I don't want to believe so. So for the debts, yes, they are there. It's a burden. That's why we need a governor with experience. We need a governor with proper both macro and microeconomic experience who can take us out. because we are not going to be depending on FAC allocations.
So there is something that bothers also some people in your state, and is the unemployment rate in Cross River State. Cross River State is one of the states that is recorded to have over 50% unemployment rate. That is huge. A lot of the youths in Cross River State are said to be without jobs. In fact, Cross River State is one of the states that have been highlighted to be where the youth are searching for more jobs out of that state. So in the immediate, do you have any plans to create jobs? And how do you hope to reduce that rate?
Yes, we are looking at about 3 areas to create, to make an immediate impact in the economy. We're looking first at agri sector, which we are going to engage over, before you know it, over about 1 million youths. We are looking at the sports, which we are coming up with a robust business model that is going to guide our sports development. And then we are coming out with the ICT, incubation centers, to make sure that our youths are properly trained and gain all these international certificates in order to move further. Agriculture, we have set up a grower scheme, which already, just going through the manifesto, some international organizations have indicated their intentions to immediately contribute. We will start initially probably with about 10,000 youths.
All right.
Program. And so, before you know it, before you know it, the moment that sector takes off, this will drive in the techpreneurs who will come in with venture capital development, and the economy will kick off. All
right. We need to close now, but just in 20 seconds or less, if you can, the question I asked the last guest on this program, and I do believe, I'm one of the believers that every state should have their own identity. One thing that they'll give to the center or they give to the world as what they produce, we need to be producing, and every 36 state of the Federation should have that agenda. Should you be elected governor of Cross River State, what would you like Cross River State to be noted for?
Well, Cross River State is going to be noted for 3 things. It will not be one. Oil palm, cocoa, and rice.
All right. We'll be looking forward to the election, and I wish you the very best in the race. Senator Prince Bassey Otu, a governorship candidate of the APC. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Cheryl. Thank you very much.